is just symbolic of what truth is all about. You don't need a microphone. You just have to say the truth. And with God's help, the truth will prevail. That is certain. There's an Almighty, it's His world, and He is righteous and just and compassionate. This state of Israel, their representative was here today, and he had the audacity, the chutzpah, as some eloquent speaker spoke earlier, to mention Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses. He mentioned that was the holiday of Purim, Queen Esther, and how the Jews were saved, but he didn't mention that we were almost destroyed because the Jews had gone and strayed from their Torah, because they had sinned. But then they repented and God saved them. This state of Israel is in the process of sinning. They are going against the word of the Almighty. Their creation is one piece of evil. It is not Judaism. Part of their evil is that they've hijacked and stolen the name of Judaism. They've stolen all our symbols. They have no morals because they have a political goal and a political issue, and morality, godliness, holiness has nothing in the equation. Therefore, they have no compunctions with taking our name of Jews, of taking the name of what Jews gave their lives for thousands of years to uphold the Torah, which in the Torah says, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. It happens to be that for 2,000 years we were dispersed amongst the nations in exile, and we were commanded that we are not to make even 1 inch of Jewish sovereignty, regardless if it's an inhabited or uninhabited land. And the rabbis, when the idea was broached of making a Jewish state 100-odd years ago, all the rabbinical authorities stood up and said, no, we have a God who protects us. Different than what this fellow, this guy, Netanyahu, said, that we have a state that protects us. The rabbi said God is what protects us, and he said we should not make a state. And you're just incurring the wrath of God. And by compounding this sin, this terrible crime and sin, by building this state on the heads and shoulders of a people, of good people, of godly creations, of people of the human race, the Palestinian people, you're just compounding your rebellion against God and incurring, God forbid, God's wrath. So he comes here in Congress and points at the picture of Moses. It's not obviously the picture of Moses. And he points and he talks about Esther, and he rolls his eyes and talks about how great he is and they're going to save the Jews, when he's in the process of bringing, God forbid, the wrath of the God on the Jewish people and creating death and rivers of destruction. In the name of holiness, we as Jews worldwide, as my colleagues from UK, from Jerusalem, from Canada, and from the United States and worldwide, stand here and say, we will not accept this, and we will not, with God's help, be silent. Will you using our name and our holiness to commit a crime and to try to ensnare our distinguished members of Congress into your crime and bringing further death and destruction on God's creations? Evil always clothes itself in holiness. Evil always portrays itself as righteous. But one has to use a little logic, a little knowledge, and a little courage to stand up and say, let me see for myself, is he telling the truth or not? If Netanyahu would be telling the truth, why is it, as Mickey Palin said, is the Jews in Jerusalem who lived there for hundreds of years, the Neturei Karta, and all the other people of Jerusalem who lived there in peace and harmony with the Palestinians, with the Muslims and the Christians, and the other Jews around the world, why were they so adamant in opposition against this great wonder of the state of Israel? Why? Because it's a lie! Yeah. Why? Because it's a crime! Why? Because it's a Nakba! It is the greatest Nakba that we are living through today! And they're trying to ensnare the whole world from this river of blood to make it an ocean, God forbid, of blood. They want to make this a world issue and then to condemn Iran. And he mentioned the Ayatollah Khomeini. He mentioned 103 times Iran in his speech. He mentioned the Ayatollahs there. He said Ayatollah Khamenei, but he didn't mention that Ayatollah Khomeini said, I differentiate between Judaism and Zionism. Between Jews and Zionists. He so conveniently forgot that, although he was able to scratch up all the way to Moses, but the Ayatollah Khomeini, he missed what was going on. We're here to stand up and say, you're a liar, you're a thief, you're a criminal, and you're a heretic. Don't mention my Torah. You're a rebel against God. And we as Jews stand up and say again, Zionism is not Judaism. No. Zionism and the state of Israel is diametrically opposite to what the Judaism is and what the Jewish people around the world, true to the Torah, stands for and will continue to stand for, and we will never, never, with the help of the Almighty, accept your rebellion. And we look to God, who doesn't need a microphone. We look to God that He should bring, God help, a speedy and peaceful and total dismantlement of this impediment to peace called the Zionist state of Israel. Woo! It will come. It says in our Torah, God says, why are you rebelling against me? You will not be successful. This state cannot be successful. It can never be successful because it says so by the creator of the world. Not 10 years past that they don't have a major war, of which they ended by celebrating how great they only lost so many and so many people while the other side lost so many more. I will continue, it's raining now, but let me tell you something. We know that God is compassionate. He will bring an end. We look to Him to bring, that He should bring a speedy and peaceful end of this country, this state of Israel, that we can once again, as Jews, show our appreciation to the Muslim nations, the Arab nations, that have provided for us a home, a safe haven. And instead of watching how He's vilifying these people, we will be able to embrace them and say, thank you for what you've done for us. We want to be able to say, here is your land back, here is your respect back, here is your dignity in your homes, and we would like to live amongst you in peace. God help that should happen soon with a free Palestine, and peace in the world to serve God in harmony, all of us together. Amen. Thank you.